During the almost 11 years that Harvey Carignan was locked away in jails or prisons for the Dorcas Callan assault and near rape, Mary Miller had moved several times. First to New York, where Kathy Sue was born. After Kathy's birth, the Millers settled in Salt Lake City, Utah. It was in Salt Lake, some 17 months after Kathy's birth, that Mary had her second child, a son, Kenny. Kenny had been quick to sit up, crawl, walk, and talk. But Kenny seemed slow to develop. He was a big, husky boy, and Mary told herself that each child might be expected to mature at his own rate, that Kenny was slower because he was a boy. It did not occur to her then, although it would later, that Kenny had been born during the fallout from the atomic energy tests on the Utah desert. It did not occur to anyone living in the area that there might be danger hiding in the great mushroom clouds that ballooned over the desert and then dissipated and fell to earth. It would be years before residents in the little Utah towns nearby began to succumb to cancer in proportions far greater than the average. Young wives miscarried, and babies were born with anomalies that could not be explained. Indeed, there would be speculation that the deaths of John Wayne, Susan Hayward, and Dick Powell, along with other members of the cast and crew of The Conqueror, a film about Genghis Khan that was shot on the Utah desert in 1956, might be traced to that lethal fallout. "I don't know what happened when Kenny was born. I never will," Mary Miller says slowly. "It might have been because of the fallout, or it might have been because my doctor left me alone and went out to dinner. I'm a fatalist, I guess. There seems to be a reason why things happen, and maybe we'll never know why it was meant to be. Kenny seemed fine, but as he grew older, we could see that his development was slow." Kenny Miller would never catch up. When he was ready for kindergarten, Mary and her children lived in Seattle. "I took him to Children's Orthopedic Hospital for tests, and they said he might try to go to regular kindergarten. It scared him half to death. He just sat there, so I put him in special education classes." By this time, the Millers' marriage had ended, and Mary had bought an older home in the north end of Seattle. Her grandmother Pagalis and great-aunt lived with them and looked after the children while Mary worked at a bank. Mary Miller's parents lived only a few blocks away, and the children were more than welcome there, too. Kathy and Kenny were very close, and the little girl was protective of her younger brother, careful that no one should ever make fun of him or take advantage of him.